And joining us now here on the Kenny and JT Show on WHBC from Goodyear, Arizona, the spring training home for the Cleveland Guardians, their outstanding pitching coach, Carl Willis. Carl, it's snowing like crazy this morning here. I live in Medina. The roads are covered and everything. I heard it's been in the 80s there in Arizona, so at least the weather's good, right?
It's actually been in the 90s this weekend. Yeah, it's got a little hot out here, but yeah, great weather to work in, and just excited to see some baseball and excited to see these guys work and get better.
Take me through your off season as the pitching coach of the Guardians, keeping up with Sandy, with Tito, waiting for that lockout to end, knowing that it's going to be a condensed spring training and season as well. What was the planning like for you guys as you were preparing, not knowing when all this would start?
Well, on the front end, we started to reach out a little earlier than normal, knowing that the December 1st deadline was going to come. And so what we were able to do on the pitching side of things, I was able to contact all the guys multiple times, get throwing programs to them much sooner than normal, work through bullpen progressions with them that typically start after December 1st, but to be able to walk them through that process and give them a calendar, not necessarily to follow to a T, but to work off of. And then, quite frankly, I think the last day of November, I talked to every one of them, knowing that it may be the last time for a while. So that was the front end. The next couple of months, 2.5 months, it was very, very difficult. We have a great group of guys and we trust them and they're very diligent and disciplined about their work, but not being able to call, to reach out, hear the energy in their voices, hearing sometimes questions that they may have. After a while, a little bit of discomfort starts to sit in on our end. Like, boy, I hope that they don't get caught up in reading all of the, internet and newspapers and the agreement's not close and that they then, kind of back off a little bit. They did a great job of that. Once they got here, I think they all got here in a really good place. Having said that, we have a really good, exciting rotation. And our fans have seen some of these guys for 2-3 years now. At the same time, they're still young. They're early in the stages of their careers, and we just can't push the envelope too much, and skip, parts of the progression to get them to a point that they would normally be in spring training. Other clubs may do it differently. It's not to say we're right, they're wrong, or vice versa. But we have to make sure that we do what we think's best to keep these guys healthy and get us through 162 games. So, the front end of this thing may look a little different at times, but I think once we get through the first couple of turns of the rotation, we should be in a pretty good spot.
Carl, added pressure on you and this staff and the bullpen for that matter, because it's the strength of the organization, the offense. They didn't spend any money on free agents or make a big trade to bring in any offensive weapons. So there are still jobs up for grabs with young players who don't have a track record maybe at the major league level. So is there added pressure on this staff to carry this team until that hopefully comes around?
I don't think there's added pressure. I mean, we talk about controlling what we can control, doing our part, and being good teammates along the way, and doing so to each other, to the other pitchers, but also to the position players and the hitters and everyone involved. Obviously, we get a lot of recognition for our development of pitching and how pitchers perform at young ages when they get here to the major leagues. But I don't think you can carry any added pressure at the end of the day, regardless of what kind of, full club you have to go out and do your part, do what you do. And that's just how we look at it. If we win 3-2, it's great. If we lose 3-2, we gave us a chance to win. If we don't do our part and we give up 9, most clubs aren't going to win. So we just have to do our part regardless of how the games are.
Carl Willis, Guardians pitching coach joining us here on the Kenny and JT show. And as I say that, my radio partner is back from working out in the gym, Carl, and I'm going to add him to the stream right now. There he is, JT. And look, he's got his Guardians gear on. Go ahead, JT.
Coach, I'm all in, man. I can't wait. And I spoke with Andre not 2 days ago. He said it was 84 degrees in Goodyear. 20 minutes ago, slid through an intersection, almost got into a car accident because it's snowing here. So,
yeah, well, I was saying to Kenny, it's been in the 90s here over the weekend. We do have a forecast of some rain coming in this evening. So,
for you.
Yeah, fortunately, we have afternoon games. We're starting night games on Wednesday. But yeah, the weather's been beautiful. It's been great out here.
So how's it been? Is everybody healthy this year?
Well, I don't know that you ever can say yes. I mean, we always want to, right now, I know it's out there. James Karinchak had a bit of a setback, unfortunate because he came in probably as prepared as anyone. This guy, he loves throwing a baseball, and he came in with a significant number of bullpens under his belt, ready to go. And, just sometimes things can't be avoided. The fortunate part is he caught it very early. So, hopefully this won't be too much time down. But I think really other than that, guys, the starting rotation, Bieber feels great coming off of, last year and a tough injury. So that's definitely a positive. And I think we're in a pretty good spot, really other than right now, James is shut down for a few days.
How careful do you guys have to be with Biebs, or is it just like any other spring training? You just move forward and he's not a worry at this time?
We try extremely hard to be careful with all of our guys. Obviously, Shane, when someone is coming off an injury, it kind of brings it more to the forefront. I think the biggest positive with him from day one coming into this camp, he feels great. He feels strong. His arm feels great. I think through his period of rehab last year and focusing on the injury, maybe a couple of little subtle changes we saw in his delivery that he's quickly getting ironed out because he's such a tremendous athlete and able to make those adjustments. But we are going to be careful. We're going to be careful with them all, but yeah, we'll probably be a little more careful with him because of, who he is, what he's done, and just how much he means to the front end of that rotation.
Coach, during the lockout, you guys were in Goodyear, right? So you got
we came to Goodyear. I came to Goodyear February 19th. We had all our major league staff here, I think, by the 20th. So yeah, we've been out here for a while prior to the major league guys, being able to come.
Any advantage to seeing some young arms up close?
No doubt. Listen, we haven't seen our minor league system in a couple of years due to COVID. So, some of the names that we have heard about and get excited about, well, we really, other than seeing some video, didn't know what these guys even look like or have an opportunity to engage in a conversation and get to know, the person and how they compete and how they think. So I think, it was a tremendous opportunity for us to see some guys, Espino. I've heard about Espino for 3 years. I've never seen a guy in person.
Okay.
And now I have, and it's really exciting. And that's not to say he's the only one, but that's just an example of being able to put a name to a face, to see the delivery and see the stuff, how it plays. Even if it's a minor league game, maybe we got Shane Bieber pitching a minor league game today. So, I think it's very, very beneficial. And, we get to the middle of the season and we're starting to talk about one of these guys.
Nice.
I got an idea of what they look like.
The starting staff, everybody knows. Bieber, Plesac, Savale, Quantrill, McKenzie, right? Eli Morgan, Logan Allen, some of the other guys. So the starters that are there in the rotation every day and some extra ones people know about. What about this bullpen? Clase's your closer, throwing gas on everything, right? We know that. Karinchak, as you mentioned, with the right shoulder strain out for a while. What about the rest of the bullpen, Carl?
Well, Anthony Ghost, what a tremendous story. What an awesome young man to work with. I think people cheer for him more than anyone, just with his path as a pitcher to get to this level. He went, as he has done the past few years. We put some restrictions on it. He threw about 14 innings in a winter ball, but left around mid-December. Took a couple of weeks off, picked the baseball back up. He comes to camp. He's ready to go. And, you see high velocity. He's got a quality slider. Super athlete. We obviously feel very good about him. Trevor Steffen last year was a Rule 5 with us, stayed with us the entire year. First year being a reliever in his career. Really adapted to it well. Has come in, strike throwing seems to have taken a tick up. Power arm from the right side. Nick Sandlin, who we had to shut down due to injury at the end of last year. We're kind of slow playing him a little bit. He's actually pitching for the first time today. He's going to pitch in a minor league game, and then he'll have 3, possibly 4 outings with us. Different slot, different look, but a high octane fastball and a slider that's very unique and a wipeout type of slider. So those guys, we're feeling really good about. There's some competition for how we're going to, fill out the remainder of the bullpen. We're going to need some length. We're going to need some guys that can give us multiple innings because the starters are going to be a little bit short here at the very outset. Again, the first couple of times through the rotation. So we're still working through that and evaluating through that. But at the end of the day, we're going to go out and compete like the Guardians do. And we feel like, that'll put us in a good spot.
Go ahead, JT. Give him your last question. We got to let him go here and get back to work.
Well, it's just, it's amazing, and it still sounds, it's not fresh yet to say Guardians, even though we're charging each other $10 every time we make the slip. How hard is it for the coaching staff and Tito and everyone else to grasp and really, get a hold of the Guardians name?
Yeah, you know what? It is a little difficult. I mean, Tito has been here a long time. Gosh, I've been here a long time. Left, came back. We were still, the Indians at the time. We pulled into an opponent's ballpark the other day. We drove over and had to tell the security guy in the parking lot that we were staff. And I said, "Hey, we're Indians coaches." And then I'm like, "Oh, whoa, wait a minute, Guardians coach." So. Yeah, I mean, it's exciting. We're getting used to it. I don't know. It was so easy for us I probably dropped Indians more than I really thought. It's like now I find myself, I really don't say Guardians, Indians, either one that often. But look, it's the same baseball, and that's what's most important. We're the same people. We're going to go out and compete and prepare like we've always done it. And the name, most importantly, Cleveland's across the front of our chest, and that's what we're representing.
Well, Carl, we appreciate the time. Hopefully you can add to your resume of 5 Cy Young Award winners, in your career as a pitching coach. Maybe one of these guys, Beebe, will double up or somebody else grabs one as well. And if that's the case, that'll help the Guardians chase a playoff spot this year, all right?
Well, it would. Listen, I'd much rather add to my resume World Series champion. I was fortunate enough to do it as a player. Obviously, I know a dream for a lot of people in Cleveland, but that's the goal. I mean, I love to see individual, guys, gain attention and win awards. It's great, but nothing compares to getting to that World Series, and that's what we're striving for.
Carl, thanks for the time. We'll talk to you throughout the season. Keep up the great work.
All right, stay warm and keep it on the road.
We'll try. Carl Willis,
Not that easy.
the Guardians pitching coach, joining us here on the Kenny and JT Show.